So this is a video to show you how to use tasks in Podio. There's many ways that you can create a task. I'll show you a couple of them. I'll go straight from a lead first and create a task that way. So I'll click on 3427 Hickory just for example. And if you scroll all the way to the bottom of the lead, there will be an option to create tasks. Here are some tasks that have already been executed. That's why they have a line through them and a check mark. Here's a task that has not yet been completed. You can create a task here. Here you want to name the task, so make new calls test. I'm just writing test because I need to be able to find this in my task list real easy. And then you can pick a contact to assign it to. I'm just going to assign it to myself, but you can assign it to more than one person by just clicking their names. And whenever you assign a task to somebody else, they'll get a notification. I'm going to put a due date on it so that it'll be in order on my task list, and you'll be able to see kind of how that plays out in a minute. You can put a time on it if you want. Most of the time I don't need to put a time on it unless I need to call somebody back at a specific time. But for now I'll just put 4 o'clock p.m. And there is an a.m. and p.m. right in there. It's just kind of hard to see. And then here it shows which lead that you're assigning the task to. And this shows up when you are in a lead creating a task. When you're not in a lead creating a task, nothing shows up in this box, but you have an opportunity to add things to that box. Shared or private. Most of the time I set my tasks to private, just because if it's shared, it's going to send a notification to everybody, and that can get slightly aggravating whenever notifications are popping up that have nothing to do with you. So I'm just going to set it to private unless it has something to do with somebody else. And then here you would write any kind of pertinent information about your task that is super important to know right off the bat. And then you can attach files here to it. Most of the time you won't be using this function. And then I like to add labels, and I'll explain to you how all this plays out too in just a few minutes. I'm just going to call this a driving for dollars lead because I'm not exactly sure what it is right now. I didn't look. But right now we're going to just pretend it's a driving for dollars lead. And then here you're able to repeat the task, make it occur more than once. And then here you're able to remind yourself when to go do the task, 10 minutes before, a couple hours before, or just simply on the due date. And you'll get emails if your notification settings are set to send you emails whenever you have reminders. I've turned mine off because I check my task list every day. That's how I keep up with things that I need to get done. I create tasks for myself so I know what needs to be done every single day, and then you'll be able to see that in your task list in just a second. So you click Create Task. Okay, so now you see how the new task pops up right here in your lead. You're still in the lead here. Okay, see that? Alright, so I'm going to close out of the lead. And then I'm going to go to my task list. And if I go to, I believe I set that for tomorrow, you can see here you have a task list. It'll tell you the time for these tasks. These are all in red, which means they're overdue because I've been super busy. Today's tasks, tomorrow's task. So here you can see where the task shows up. You can also see how I've got all these labels on the tasks. If you go up to your top right corner, you can see the different labels that you have for things. And if you select one of them, like driving for dollars, you'll see that only your driving for dollars tasks show up. See? Or if I select training, only my training tasks show up. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my task list. And the best way to delete a task so it deletes all over Podio is to just check right here. It'll cross it out and then it'll just disappear. See, it's all gone. Another way to create a task is to just create it from your task list. If you're just saying, this is the kind of stuff I need to do today, I need to make a list, this is a good place to do it. So make new calls test. And then the same way you did it before, you would pick a contact. I'm picking myself once again. I'm going to set it for, you can do a custom date. Here, for example, just a little bit of extra training. I'm going to set it for the 21st. And then I'll put 8 a.m. And then here, remember I said earlier this would be left blank if you weren't actually inside a lead. You can attach the item, you can attach it to an item or a workspace. So you can attach it to the leads workspace where most of the leads are kept. Here's my old workspace that I'm not really using that much anymore, but it's got older leads in it, so I'm probably the only person who's using that. And then here's the Kristen Realtor workspace. So you can attach it to either of those. Normally, I don't use this function because they all show up in your task list anyway. So unless you're wanting to be able to divide them by workspace, then you don't really need this. But just like how I use labels over here, you can do the same thing with the workspaces by creating the workspace labels for your task and then separating it by, just click over here on leads, and then it'll show only your tasks that are for the leads workspace. So another thing that you can do here is attach it to a item. So I can attach it to one of the addresses. I just start typing what I'm wanting to attach it to, and then I can click on the drop down menu, whichever one I'm needing. But we're going to leave that blank for now. This one has been set to automatically go straight to private because it's not attached to anything. And then I can put notes here as usual. I can attach files as usual, but again, you'll probably not be using that much. And then I can add labels. Let's call it call fire, and then set the recurrence, set a reminder, and create task. And once again, it'll just show up, just added in my task list. It's got the date, time, this. And if you want to make changes in your task list to the time or date, you just click on it and you can make the change right there. If you want to go to the task, you can just click on the task from there. You can open it and you can close it. You can add comments, attach file, close it. Okay, and then if it's attached to a lead, like for instance this one, you can go to that lead. See how it just takes you straight there? Okay, going back to my task list. I'm going to go and delete that task. See, it's gone right now. That's because it moved to tomorrow because it's no longer just added. I'm going to go ahead and delete that since it was just a test. So if you have any questions about your tasks, just let me know.